This Toyota starts at $30,000. This Lexus starts at $51,000. Same hybrid engine architecture, same platform, same parent company writing both of their paychecks. So what is that extra 20 grand actually buying you? 3 questions are going to drive this video. 1. Are a Lexus and a Toyota actually the same car underneath? 2. If they're not, where exactly does the money go? And 3. When you run the actual ownership numbers over a full decade, does the Lexus premium make any financial sense at all? Because the answer to that last one will probably catch you off guard. The gamble. In August 1983, Toyota chairman Eiji Toyota called a private meeting with his most senior engineers. The question he put on the table was deceptively simple. Can we create a luxury car that can challenge the very best in the world? Toyota had a problem. For 3 decades, the brand had built its entire reputation as being reliable, practical, and affordable. But Toyota's own loyal customers were getting wealthier, and when they wanted something more elevated, there was nothing on the Toyota lot for them. They walked out the door and into the nearest BMW showroom. They came back in a Mercedes-Benz. Toyota had succeeded so thoroughly at being accessible that it had locked itself out of the luxury market entirely. So, Toyota launched a top-secret project with no fixed deadline and no preset budget. Build the best car in the world from scratch. Don't borrow a single part from any existing Toyota model. That was the entire brief. They called it Project F1, Flagship 1. What followed was one of the most obsessive product development campaigns in automotive history. 60 designers, 1,400 engineers, 2,300 technicians, 24 separate engineering teams, more than 450 prototype vehicles built and destroyed, 2.7 million kilometers of testing, from the German Autobahn to Arizona desert highways to the streets of Tokyo. Toyota even quietly rented a house in Laguna Beach, California, so researchers could observe wealthy American consumers in their natural habitat and understand precisely what a luxury buyer actually wanted, down to how they opened a car door. 6 years and more than $1 billion later, the LS400 debuted at the Detroit Auto Show in January 1989. And here is what stopped the entire luxury establishment cold. The LS400 was priced at $35,000. The comparable Mercedes-Benz S-Class at the time cost $63,000, half the price, for a car that automotive journalists almost universally described as quieter, more refined, and technically more accomplished than anything Mercedes or BMW had on the floor. The LS400's cabin noise level measured just 58 decibels at 60 miles per hour, quieter than any comparable luxury car on the market. To demonstrate it, Lexus placed a champagne glass on the hood of an LS400 at idle. Not a drop spilled. BMW publicly accused Lexus of selling below cost just to wipe out German competition. Over at Mercedes, engineers rushed last-minute revisions into their next S-Class development to match it. The effort blew the budget by a significant margin. Chief engineer Wolfgang Peter lost his job over it. By the end of 1989, Lexus had sold just over 16,000 vehicles in 4 months of trading. In 1990, their first full calendar year of U.S. sales, they moved 63,594 vehicles. That same year, the LS400 outsold the equivalent Mercedes-Benz and BMW models in the American market. Lexus was not born to overcharge you. It was born to embarrass the Germans. Here is where the story gets more complicated. Same bones, different universe. Here's the detail your showroom salesperson probably will not volunteer. Walk through the Lexus lineup and you will find a familiar face at every price point. The 2026 Toyota Camry starts at $30,595. The 2026 Lexus ES starts at $51,095. Both share the same TNGA-K platform and the same fundamental 2.5-liter hybrid four-cylinder, but the Lexus gets more insulation, a longer wheelbase, and a different chassis tune. The structural DNA is identical, $20,000 separating two cars built on the same skeleton. Take it to the compact SUV segment. The Toyota RAV4 hybrid starts around $34,000. The Lexus NX 350h starts around $42,000 to $43,000. Lexus tunes the engine for more output, 240 horsepower versus the Toyota's 219, but it is the same platform underneath, $8,000 to $10,000 more for the Lexus badge. Go further up the range. The Toyota 4Runner and the Lexus GX both ride on body-on-frame ladders designed for the same kind of terrain. The 4Runner starts around $41,000. The GX starts at $67,000, $26,000 more. Even at the entry point of the Lexus lineup, the Toyota Corolla Cross and the Lexus UX share their wheelbase down to the millimeter. The Corolla Cross starts at $26,000. The Lexus UX starts at $38,000, $12,000 to cross the threshold. Same bones every time. One gets a bespoke suit, hand-stitched with Japanese craftsmanship. The other gets a reliable off-the-rack version that will last just as long. But here is where the "it's just a rebadged Toyota" argument starts to break down, because the differences between these cars are more real than most people acknowledge. If this kind of breakdown is useful to you, hit subscribe. We do these deep comparisons on the cars that actually matter to everyday buyers. Takes 2 seconds. Now back to it. The bespoke suit. The first thing you notice inside a Lexus, before you even look at the trim or touch the steering wheel, is the silence. This is not a subtle difference. Lexus engineers layer active noise cancellation systems, sound-deadening material built directly into the body structure, and acoustic laminated glass throughout the cabin. That obsession started with the original LS400 in 1989 and has never left the brand. Drive a Lexus ES on a motorway and you hear almost nothing. Drive a Camry XSM on the same road, and the hybrid system makes itself known when you accelerate, not dramatically, but unmistakably. That difference compounds across every single commute for the next 10 years. Then there's the interior. Lexus uses semi-aniline leather and open-pore real wood trim, where Toyota uses synthetics and molded plastics. The 2026 ES ships with a 14-inch touchscreen as standard. The base Camry gets an 8-inch unit. Higher Lexus trims include a 21-speaker Mark Levinson audio system, tuned specifically to each cabin's acoustic profile. Features like a digital rear-view mirror, traffic jam assist, and rear pedestrian detection are standard or available on Lexus, while they are costly options or simply absent on equivalent Toyotas. But arguably the biggest separator between owning a Toyota and owning a Lexus has nothing to do with what is inside the car. Lexus operates on a philosophy called omotenashi, a Japanese approach to hospitality that doesn't just respond to your needs, it anticipates them. The word combines the Japanese characters for public face and nothing, service with no pretense, no hidden agenda. Walk into a Lexus dealership and the difference is palpable. Barista-prepared coffee, private consultation rooms, complimentary loaner vehicles while your car is being serviced, a dedicated vehicle delivery specialist who walks you through each feature at handover. The omotenashi philosophy is so central to Lexus that it was codified in a document called the Lexus Covenant before the brand ever launched, with one line that cuts to the point: "We will treat each customer as we would a guest in our own home." They meant it. In December 1989, just months after launch, A minor wiring fault prompted Lexus to voluntarily recall all 8,000 vehicles sold to that point. Every car was fixed within 20 days and returned to owners fully washed with a full tank of fuel. That single moment set a service standard that has defined the brand for 35 years. J.D. Power has consistently ranked Lexus highest in customer satisfaction among all luxury brands for dealership service. Compare that to the average Toyota dealer visit. Decent, functional, probably adequate coffee, gets the job done. Just a completely different experience. The warranty gap is real too. Lexus gives you 4 years and 50,000 miles bumper to bumper against Toyota's 3 years and 36,000. 4 years of complimentary roadside assistance versus 2 at Toyota. Both brands include 2 years of free basic maintenance. Worth noting, some Lexus owners quietly take their cars to Toyota dealerships for routine servicing. Many Lexus parts are compatible across brands, the technicians are trained on the same underlying systems, and the labor costs come in noticeably lower. Same engineering foundation, different waiting room. The ledger. Now for the actual numbers. Based on CarEdge data, Toyota owners spend an average of around $6,000 on maintenance and repairs over 10 years. Lexus owners spend roughly $7,800. That is about $1,800 more over a decade, which works out to around $15 a month. In the context of a $20,000 price gap between the two cars, that monthly difference is almost beside the point. Both brands sit near the top of every major reliability study, but the results shift depending on who you ask. J.D. Power's 2026 Vehicle Dependability Study placed Lexus first in the entire industry, with 151 reported problems per 100 vehicles, the 4th consecutive year Lexus has held that position. The industry average was 204. Toyota came in 8th, still well above average. Consumer Reports 2025 data tells a different story, with Toyota first and Lexus third, partly because the redesigned GX550 Overtrail had early quality concerns after its 2024 launch, including a recall over machining debris in the engine. The honest summary? Both studies confirmed that either brand is dramatically more dependable than the European luxury competition. The German alternatives are not in this conversation. Here's the number that tends to surprise people. According to IC Cars data, the Toyota Camry holds around 64% of its original value after 5 years. The Lexus ES holds closer to 56 to 58%. On a $50,000 car, that depreciation difference translates to several $1,000s less in your pocket at trade-in. Toyota wins on resale value, despite being cheaper to buy in the first place. Within the luxury segment, though, Lexus is the second cheapest brand to own over 10 years, behind only Tesla. If you're going to spend luxury money, Lexus is the financially rational pick. It just isn't as rational as staying in the Toyota family entirely. One last figure worth sitting with. In a 2025 comparison between the 4Runner TRD Pro and the Lexus GX550 Overtrail, the two vehicles came within roughly $1,000 of each other. At that point, the usual price argument vanishes entirely. Sometimes the Lexus barely costs more than the Toyota it's parked beside. The verdict. So, who should actually buy which one? Buy the Toyota if you want the strongest combination of reliability, resale value, and low long-term cost. If the badge does not move the needle for you, if you are not paying for the loaner car and the freshly ground coffee, and if you would rather redirect that $15,000 to $20,000 premium somewhere more useful, Toyota wins. It is not a close contest on pure value metrics. Buy the Lexus if the daily experience matters to you. If a quieter cabin makes 40 minutes in traffic feel like a different thing entirely. If walking into a dealership that treats you like a hotel guest adds something real to your life. If you want Japanese-grade engineering reliability without the unpredictable repair bills that come attached to European luxury brands, Lexus is the most sensible entry point in the segment. And if the social signal of that spindle grille in your driveway means something to you personally, that is a legitimate consideration, not a shallow one. The honest version of this whole comparison, Lexus is not a scam. It is a carefully engineered luxury experience built on top of a Toyota foundation and refined over 35 years of competing against the best in the world. You are not just paying for the engine, you are paying for the quiet, the real wood trim, the leather, the barista coffee in the waiting room, and the feeling that you have arrived somewhere. Whether any of that is worth $20,000 extra is a question only you can answer, but now you know exactly what you were deciding between. What history already answered? The next time someone tells you a Lexus is nothing more than a dressed-up Toyota, remind them that BMW said the same thing in 1989. Then Lexus outsold them in America the following year. This brand was built to make the establishment uncomfortable. For 35 years, it has done exactly that. Whether you choose the Toyota or the Lexus, you are getting some of the most reliable, best-engineered vehicles on the planet right now. The only real question is which version of that engineering fits your life. If this is the kind of deep comparison breakdown you come here for, subscribe. This is what we do. And if you want to know which specific Toyota and Lexus models hold their value best going into 2026, that video is up next.